force is looking to recruit up to 200 officers from overseas. The initiative aims to fill urgent vacancies targeting experienced officers from the UK, Ireland and New Zealand.
This is the second team we've sent to the UK, and the purpose of their visit is to meet face-to-face with people who are thinking about a career with South Australia Police. Our goal is to attract 200 experienced police officers to consider South Australia as the new place to pursue their policing careers.
What would make thousands of dedicated police officers abandon their careers in the UK? The answer might shock you. As we speak, South Australian police representatives are in Britain with one mission: to poach our experienced officers with promises of respect and proper working conditions. The mass exodus comes as officers report feeling muzzled by politicians and trapped in an increasingly bureaucratic system that values paperwork over actual policing. Former Home Secretary Suella Braverman has confirmed what many suspected. We're witnessing nothing short of a crisis in British policing, one that the current government seems determined to ignore.
We'll pay for the cost of permanent visas for you and your family. This is the second team we've sent to the UK, and the purpose of their visit is to meet face-to-face with people who are thinking about a career with South Australia Police. So far we have 4 courses in our academy made up of international and interstate police officers, and we are aiming for more courses right through the rest of 2025.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. For decades, the British police force stood as a shining example of what law enforcement should be, the gold standard that police forces worldwide aspired to emulate. Rooted in Sir Robert Peel's revolutionary principles of policing by consent, UK officers embodied a tradition where authority came not from force, but from public trust and ethical conduct. Officers walked their beats with minimal weaponry, relying instead on community relationships and moral authority. This wasn't just policing. It was a particular British institution that symbolised the country's values of fairness, restraint and public service. But today that proud tradition lies in ruins. The same police force that once exported its methods to democracies around the world.
Force is looking to recruit up to 200 officers from overseas. The initiative aims to fill urgent vacancies targeting experienced officers from the UK, Ireland and New Zealand.
It's devastating. It's devastating potentially for our resources.
Our goal is to attract 200 experienced police officers to consider South Australia as the new place to pursue their policing careers.
Now finds itself hemorrhaging talent at an alarming rate. Experienced officers aren't simply changing careers, they're abandoning their country entirely, taking their expertise and institutional knowledge with them. This isn't a typical case of workplace dissatisfaction. It's nothing short of a systematic breakdown in one of Britain's most crucial public institutions. South Australia has recognised this opportunity and is aggressively targeting these disillusioned British officers. Their police recruitment teams have made multiple trips to the UK, offering not just jobs, but comprehensive relocation packages. Think about what this means. A foreign government is willing to pay for permanent visas for British officers and their entire families. They're not just hiring individuals, they're transplanting whole family units, permanently removing them from British society. The fact that this is their second recruitment mission underscores the success of their previous efforts and the depth of the crisis facing UK policing. The testimonies from these departing officers tell a devastating story. One former detective sergeant explained his departure in stark terms. He left seeking a better lifestyle while continuing the career he loved. But beneath this simple explanation lies a more troubling reality. Officers repeatedly describe feeling betrayed by their own government and institutions. They speak of being muzzled by political correctness and what they perceive as a woke anti-British agenda that prevents them from doing their jobs effectively. These aren't just disgruntled employees, they're dedicated professionals who've invested years in public service, only to find themselves caught between impossible bureaucratic demands and a public they feel increasingly unable to protect. Their exodus represents more than individual career changes. It's a collective vote of no confidence in Britain's policing direction. The consequences of this brain drain can't be overstated. Each officer who leaves takes with them years of accumulated knowledge that can't be replaced by fresh recruits, no matter how well trained. There's a real danger of an increasingly hollowed-out police service, one deprived of the critical skills and experience needed on the front line. The institutional memory that informs effective policing, knowing community dynamics, recognising patterns of criminal behaviour, understanding how to de-escalate volatile situations, is disappearing with each resignation letter. This creates a vicious cycle. As experienced officers leave, those who remain become more overburdened. Morale plummets further, prompting more resignations. Public safety inevitably suffers as response times increase and complex investigations lack the expert guidance needed to bring them to successful conclusions. The public senses this deterioration, further eroding the trust that has always been the foundation of British policing. But what specifically triggered this mass departure? The transformation from respected institution to demoralised service didn't happen overnight. It resulted from a perfect storm of policy changes, excessive bureaucracy, and perhaps most damagingly, political interference. Officers describe feeling constantly second-guessed and overruled by politicians with little understanding of frontline realities. They point to a disconnect between Westminster's priorities and the actual needs of communities they serve. The bureaucratic burden has grown exponentially, with officers spending more time completing paperwork than patrolling streets. Meanwhile, political correctness has created an environment where officers fear making judgment calls that could be scrutinised through ideological lenses rather than practical policing considerations. The cumulative effect is a force that feels handcuffed by the very society it's meant to protect. This isn't about resistance to legitimate oversight or accountability. Most officers readily acknowledge the need for both. Instead, it reflects a deeper crisis in which the fundamental nature of policing has been redefined without the consent of those tasked with implementing it. The principles of operational independence and policing by consent, hallmarks of the British system, have been steadily eroded, replaced by micromanagement and politically driven priorities that change with each news cycle. What we're witnessing in Britain's police force isn't merely an employment issue, it's a systemic collapse of trust between government and law enforcement. Former Home Secretary Suella Braverman didn't mince words when highlighting the failure of leadership at the top of the profession. She pointedly described today's police as paralysed to a large degree by bureaucracy and paperwork. The solutions seem clear, yet remain unimplemented. Reduce administrative burdens, improve morale, and restore officers' sense of purpose. Without these changes, the exodus will continue unabated. The question facing Britain isn't whether it can recruit new officers, it's whether it can create an environment where those officers want to stay.